My mother was just delighted that I stopped partying, clubbing, drinking, burning the candle at both ends. And now she's more accepting to Islam. So that was a major victory for me. And the other advantage was, as a reaction to my conversion, she started going to church again. And
as a reaction to your conversion? As a reaction,
yes. And I said, this is great.
So you brought religion back into her life?
Yes. I said, at least you're getting some spirituality into your life. And then I've said, you just have to make that little jump from Christianity to Islam. And she's 79, and she said, I don't have time for these newfangled Arab religions.
Arab religion?
And I said, where do you think Jesus is from? Manchester? And for the first time in her life, she began to realize that the roots of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all wrapped round.
From a small triangular area in the Middle East. Well, what about the most important relationship in your life, your daughter Daisy?
Daisy is my greatest supporter. I would love to see her convert to Islam. I hope, that it will happen one day. She does.
So is Daisy a Christian?
She's a Christian, and it's a bizarre situation because both her parents are Muslim. When Daisy was born, I decided that she should make her own decision when she gets older what her faith is going to be, and that was working quite nicely. She had the influence of her father's faith, she had the influence of my faith, and so she was spiritually aware. And then my mother said something one time about, you ought to get Daisy christened into become a Christian. And I said, let her decide when she's older. And my mother said, but she's nothing at the moment. And Dawood, her father, said, well, actually she is. She's a Muslim, and until she changes her faith, she was born a Muslim. And my mother was horrified at this and set about, I think, putting ideas in Daisy's head. And when she was 7 or 8, she said to me, Mummy, I want to be a Christian. So she was christened in July 2001.
At a time when almost you were about to become a Muslim.
Yes, and it's everything is for a reason. Only Allah knows best. And she became a Christian. She's very spiritually aware. She's at boarding school. I'm quite relaxed that she's in the Christian faith, because it's very, very similar. And as I said before,
it's a graduating point towards Islam.
Yes. I think it's you've got to learn your 2 + 2s before you can go on to a more senior level of math. And so I'm quite relaxed about her developing spiritually as a Christian. But she's also, as I say, acutely aware of Islam and its importance. And when we are on holidays, we always go to a Muslim country.
Even what about the rest of the society? How have they reacted? People around you, around your family, your friends?
There are those who are completely prejudiced, and I've got girlfriends who meet me and say, you're looking really well, you've lost so much weight, your complexion is healthier, you seem happier, what is the secret? And I'll say, it's Islam. And they say, no, really, nobody's around, just tell me.
What gym have you joined?
And, well, it's either something like that, or is there a man in your life? And I'm saying, how shallow are you that you would think that I would change my faith for a man? What does that say about yourself? And they say, well, just tell us what it is. And I say it's Islam, and they are, in a denial over it.
But when I look at some of your old photographs with this woman here with this short bob hairstyle, and from this hairstyle and this face and this profile you change into this, how do people react to that, this dress code?
Well, the hijab is part of my business suit. It tells the world I am a Muslim, I'm a Muslim woman, treat me with respect, don't hit on me, don't offer me alcohol, don't get intimate or put your hand on my shoulder. Or
so you don't shake hands?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I broke the rule.
Well, do you know, it's difficult. Sometimes I will just go like that and people accept it. But at the beginning of this year I was in Cairo and I met Sheikh Tantawi, and we had a meeting, and when we left to go he went to shake my hand.
Sheikh?
Yes, from Al-Azhar, the Sheikh. And I just said, no, sorry, I don't shake hands. And
do you think it's part of Islam?
Yes, it is.
That women should not shake hands with them?
Absolutely. You know, it's something that the Prophet, peace be upon him, would never dream of doing, and he is our greatest role model. And so I just pulled back and said, no, I don't shake hands. And he insisted on shaking my hand, and you could tell his entourage were very unhappy by this gesture.
His gesture or your gesture?
His gesture. And again I went like that, and then he said in Arabic to my host, who is she listening to? This is the problem with Muslims in Europe, they listen to extreme voices. And he said, now tell her to shake my hand, she is like my daughter. And I didn't want to get into a confrontation. You know, he sits in the highest scholarly seat in Sunni.
But do you think that the Sheikh made a very interesting comment, actually? I mean, the Sheikh sitting in Al-Azhar in Egypt is pointing to the fact that the European converts and European Muslims are far more conservative. The people in Britain and in Europe are far more conservative Muslims than people that live in the Muslim countries.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I remember when I went to Pakistan to spend 2 or 3 weeks with some friends, because I said, you know, I feel as though I'm losing my spirituality and I really need to get back to
England.
No, to get back to roots. And they said, come out to Pakistan and we'll help you. And I had some time, and so I went out. And I decided that in Pakistan I'll start to wear the hijab, because it's a Muslim country and it will be easier for me to wear a hijab.
You started to wear hijab, or you stopped wearing hijab?
I started to wear.
You started to wear hijab. So it is in Pakistan that you started wearing hijab?
Yes. And
but most Pakistani women don't wear hijab.
Well, no, a sister came up to me and she said, why are you wearing
hijab?
The scarf. She said, the scarf. And I said, you know, it's an obligation in Islam. She said, look, you don't have to wear it, and this country is very hot. And I said, sister, it is a lot hotter in hell. And she looked, and by the afternoon
so was she referring that you wear hijab because of England as a cold country?
By the afternoon she was wearing her hijab, and I just thought, mashallah, you know, the hijab is an obligation. Some of us get to it much quicker than others. I don't think that women should be bullied and cajoled into wearing a hijab. This does not make me a better Muslim, but it is an obligation. And
but we have seen this very interesting thing that women who wear hijab, some of them wear very pretty and fashionable hijab, and some of them wear very simple hijab. So women are differentiating between the hijabs as well, right? I mean, they bring their innovation into hijab. So how do you look at that?
Well, as a white revert, I may as well put a flashing light on my head when I put on a hijab. So what I decided, when I'm in this country anyway, I'm going to make a virtue of the fact I'm wearing a hijab, and I wear bright scarves and experiment and sometimes put on a turban style, and because, you know, I'm going to attract attention anyway. But when I go into a Muslim country like Saudi or Bahrain or somewhere else, then I'm very happy just to put on a black hijab and just blend in.
How much time have you spent in Pakistan?
I try and get to Pakistan maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I love Pakistan. It's like a second home. And I was so distressed